Now, when you hear the name Gavin Williamson, what springs to mind? Accident-prone Frank Spencer, perhaps, in Some Mothers Do Have 'Em? I mean, if you're about my age or older, you'll definitely remember that one. And if that doesn't resonate, this comment might.
Russia should go away, it should shut up.
So, when twice sacked Gavin Williamson, possibly the worst education secretary, definitely in my lifetime, is offered a knighthood, you can't help but question how on earth this has happened. Even with the most generous of intentions, there is no way that that man, in my view, is deserving of such an honour. And to be honest, it brings the concept of knighthood into disrepute. I mean, if you think I'm being unfair, his track record not only consists of a string of ridiculous, childish gaffes, but his performance as an MP wasn't much better. Described by potty-mouthed Labour Deputy Leader Angela Rayner, although she's a one, as a prat, he was sacked as Defence Secretary by Theresa May after being blamed for leaking of top-secret sensitive information on China about phone giant Huawei from the national security briefings, something that he has always denied. It wasn't doing this job where, at the height of the Salisbury poisoning, whilst he was doing this job, he famously told Russia to go away and shut up. Perhaps he could give that a go now. And in 2018, he risked a diplomatic row with France over the Syria conflict by saying, "What is the point in listening to French politicians?" Remember the disaster for the schools during COVID? He left children to go hungry, and if it hadn't been for the likes of Marcus Rashford, who stepped in voluntarily to pressurise the government, God knows what would have happened. And to make matters worse, Gavin then confused rugby star Mario Itoje. He thought that he'd been speaking to Marcus Rashford, who, by the way, only got an MBE for his efforts. It makes an absolute mockery of the whole honours process. Gavin Williamson created 2 years of complete chaos over exams. He failed to get laptops out to kids struggling to learn during the lockdowns, and I can remember how he ignored the pleas from head teachers to shut down their schools due to COVID, staff illness and absences across the board, which saw him open schools for one day and then be forced to shut them the next. Frankly, his record is astonishing and disgraceful. So how on earth has this been allowed to happen? The key could lie in the fact that he was Boris Johnson's campaign manager, and we've seen the damage that ex-employees can inflict, namely Dominic Cummings. The last thing Boris needs right now is another one of those. Munira Wilson, a Liberal Democrat education spokeswoman, said this: "The only award Gavin Williamson should be given is the one for the worst education secretary in history. People across the country will be outraged at this reward for his abysmal failures. It is an insult to every child, parent and teacher who struggled through COVID against the odds. It shows this government only cares about those at the top." And Williamson's timeline in office is a catastrophe. A knighthood for political and public service makes a mockery of the honour and, frankly, shouldn't be allowed.
Russia should go away, it should shut up.
Arise, Sir Gavin.